Hey everybody, we're here today with Mr. Chip Blanton, going to be talking with you about one of the biggest requirements of a chapter each year, and that's our membership rosters. Keeping those up to date and being prepared and having everything turned in on time can be very beneficial when you're providing opportunities to your students, whether that be competing in a CDE, LDE event, doing a proficiency application, or your state and American degrees. Having this membership turned in on time and getting it right the first time can be very beneficial. So we wanted to put together this how-to video, and we're going to be utilizing a great resource that has been developed called AET Easy as 1, 2, 3 for membership. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Chip, and we're going to show you how to access these documents and how to work through AET and FFA to get your membership turned in and hopefully answer some questions that you have every year. All right, Mr. Chip, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You can find the Easy as 1, 2, 3 on the Alabama FFA website. It's under resources and on the resource library. And you click on that and it'll take you down to the membership information down through there and membership through AET, and you click on it and it'll bring up the Easy as 1, 2, 3. It is easy as 1, 2, 3 when you're using it. Of course, we don't have access to iNow, so we're going to have to sort of simulate that. But you want to go just like you're sort of like a call and roll. You go to Classroom and under iNow and click that. Then you go to Roster, and then you go to a specific class and you click Course Roster. That will bring up a screen that'll show you a layout. In layout, you simple, and then under that, right under simple will be last say student number, and you click none. You don't want to get the student number for what we're doing. It has absolutely no use, so you don't need that. Then you hit preview. You got to hit preview before it brings it up, and after you do that, then you're going to copy that entire class roster, and then you'll go back to AET to paste it. You'll paste it under the accounts, manage all accounts. We click that and get it up. And you go to multiple, and it will bring up a box, and you paste it in that box. And once you get it pasted, you take out any name that you don't want in there. For instance, Jared is Jared Mark. So if he goes by Jared, so we're going to take out the Mark so that there won't be any confusion, and that's an easier way to do it. And once you get that done, then you just simply go to Add Accounts and click that, and it will post it in your accounts on AET.
I would add that be very careful, especially if you're an advisor and you've been at a school for a while, you know your kids. This is a place you don't want to duplicate accounts. Sometimes when you copy and paste, if you don't do like Mr. Chip said and go back through that list and check those names, it can be easy, especially in a multiple teacher program. You could add a kid in there twice, and that can create a lot of problems later on in the FFA roster when a kid has been added under 2 slightly different names. Maybe something's not capitalized the same, or there is that middle name, and that can require a good bit of time to get fixed on applications. So do double check that here. But once
it is hard, it's hard to fix it once it's in there on applications. Make sure that when you're doing that, I've seen some schools that had some of their students in all caps, and that also would make it duplicated. If it's in all caps one time and written with just a capital for the first name and last name the next time, that's going to cause it to duplicate. So be sure and check those.
So once you've added those accounts as a teacher, what you want to do next, especially if you have a brand new class of students, like let's say you have freshmen that have never been in your class before, you want to get them logged into AET. And typically what happens when you go in and enter accounts like that is it takes and gives them a username and password that's the same. It normally takes the first letter of whatever first name you gave them and then their last name capitalized, the first two letters. So for mine, for instance, would be capital J, capital D, YESS. That's what right here, what my username and password would be the first time I log in. So once they're logged in, it'll pull up their dashboard and you can have them go to their profile. So I'm going to simulate Mr. Chips here. So this is what Mr. Chip, when he logs into this account we've created, this is what it looks like. And this next step we want to show you is to make sure they get all that required information in there that's very important for that annual report. So if you go to Profile and Manage, Edit Personal Profile and Password, this has some of the information that is needed for that report. And you would have them work through this. And as you can see, everything is not required for our annual report, but I would have them fill in as much of this as possible until this basic profile says 100%. I think Mr. Chip's got some cool things he wants to share with you here as well.
Yeah, if you will have them put in their email, then you're able to pull that email up, and you at a time like this, you can email every student that you've got, and that just put their email address in there, and they'll do them all at one time. You don't have to go through separately and email each kid. You can do one email, put it in there, and it'll get them all at one time. You can also they have, AET's got like a web page and all kind of neat things that you can do with this. You can put their parents and guardians email in there if you want to. If you want to talk with them, you can. When you look at their SAE reports, you can grade them, and it will send them an email telling what their grade is, and it'll also send the parents an email. A lot of neat things that AET is put into this. So be sure and fill all these out. And besides that, this is going to make your annual report a piece of cake. There is nothing hard about it if you'll do this like we're saying to do it.
Absolutely. And you see what we require on annual report is minimal. I'd encourage you to get your students to fill out this entire demographic section all the way down, because all this can be pulled at some point into an application.
Right. It'll all go into application at some point or another.
They can also change their password in here as well if your students don't want that generic password. However, I encourage you to have them write that down, because if they forget it, you have to reset it.
Yep. Now, there is a place on there when you go to there that will tell you what their password is. When you go to accounts for a chapter account, you will still have, even if they change their password, you should still have a copy of what their password. There's all the passwords there, and you should be able to go in there and still be able to see what their password is, or go back and change it. Sometimes it will change their password to their FFA number. And I don't know why it does that, but occasionally that will happen.
But you as the teacher can always go into their account and go back and just impersonate the student and go back to that profile and change that back to whatever you would like as well.
Right. You can change it. You can go in anytime and change their password to whatever they want or you want the password to be.
So once we've got your students, like I said, if you've got a classroom set of Chromebooks or something, or access to a lab, I know a lot of teachers will have the students one day working on something. They'll bring them up one at a time to the computer to get this data put in. But once you have them all at 100%, it's going to make what Mr. Chip's about to talk with you about a lot easier moving forward. So.
And once you've got them all at 100%, you're going to go back to accounts and click on it. And then you're going to go over here to number 7, FFA roster helper. And this is where it really gets easy, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just click 7. Anybody that's in green is ready to send on to National FFA. If they're not in green, then you need to do something about it. And I noticed we have one problem child there who is not in green. So we're going to click on him and see what he's missing. And see, they're all say new down through there. If they weren't new, there would be an FFA number there. There could possibly be an FFA number there. Okay, he doesn't have his address or his high school graduation date. A lot of them don't list their high school graduation date. Now, this is a place that you need to really pay attention. Make sure that they put their high school graduation date, not this year unless they're graduating, or the year they were born. Some of them put the year they were born. That happens pretty often. So make sure that's in there. And it's easy. You can edit it and change it real easy, but it throws it off when they start filling out applications. So Jared's going in and filling his stuff out right there. Putting his email in and all that stuff. Now I can go in now and I can, if I need to send Jared an email, he's in my class, I can go right on and fill that in. See, they're all green. Okay, once they're all green, we're going to go up to the top of this page and we're going to submit all to FFA.org. Do not, under any circumstances, leave one out. If you've got somebody that's no longer in your class and you don't want to send them to FFA.org, you're only going to be charged for the ones that say 1 year member. If it says Ag Ed only, you will not be charged, and you can change them to Ag Ed only real easy. And it'll also say on there somewhere, do not send. If you put do not send, then we're not going to have that information for our demographics that we need. So send them all. If you've got one duplicated or you've got somebody that's moved, click on the box, and you'll have to go back and do it in a different place, but click on the box and make them inactive. Don't not send them, because if they move back, you're going to have to go back and put them back in. If you make them inactive, you've still got them. All you got to do is reactivate them. So make sure that when you get to this point, we're going to send them all. So we're going to send all to FFA.org. And we'll just click that. You click that, and that will send them to this. You'll have to wait about 30 minutes or an hour, something like that, and then go check the state website to see if it's come through. We'll let Jared get to that point.
We're just going to assume we've sent them all. And once you send them all and they've sent, the status should say sent. Because we're working off of a state profile, it's not going to send these through. So you'll see pending on a lot of these. But normally it will say sent once they've gone through in that 15, 30-minute range. But like Mr. Chip said earlier, one big thing you can do is when you have kids graduate, or if you've got some working further on for their American degree, once you know that student's done, do go back into those accounts and make them inactive. So this is a very neat process. Like you said, you can just check their membership type and send all. So, all right, now we'll go to FFA.org.
And we're going to go here to check your state, where what you've sent it to state. Now we're going to see where it is in there. And it's either going to say approved or local or pending. Just depend on where you are. You can pull up your school right there. You can actually pull up individual students if there's individual students that you want to look at. There's a couple right there that have been approved by state. He's going and searching for one now. Now you're ready to go and submit to state. And remember to do that. And remember to go, you've got to check them all. Check all the boxes when you submit to state. When it says submit memberships to state, click on that. And when you want to check every box, and all it'll do is if they say Ag Ed only, you'll have a little red thing up there that comes on, a little red sign that says cannot submit local only. So you're not going to be charged for them. Trust me, it will not. We won't charge you. But
you may have multiple pages of names, and normally when you do, there'll be a button that'll say select all 230 memberships. And you can just click on that button first.
You just have to do it one time. You don't have to go through and do every box, but make sure it says select all the number of memberships that you expect to send in.
If you have a mixed batch, like in the status, you may have sent membership back in October, like we asked you to do for some of those fall contests. So you may have some already approved nationally or at state level, and they'll say it. Then you have some you added second semester. Let's say you got new students. They may all say local here. You can still select all. It will only send the local ones to state. It knows, it kind of sorts through that, and you'll get, like Mr. Chip said, a green and a red box at the top. In that case, it'll say this many were sent. These had an error because they were already approved, probably.
Yep, it'll sort it out for you. You don't have to worry about it. And then after you hit submit to state, then Jared and Andy are going to check them every couple of weeks, and National FFA will send you an invoice after 2 or 3 weeks. Now they say 2 weeks, but it's not always 2 weeks. So don't get excited if you don't get an invoice in 2 weeks. But your invoice, Jared, doesn't the invoice show up on here?
Yes, they do. And before we go to that, once again, once you've submitted to state, this status should say state.
Yeah.
And then we typically send membership on a regular time of the year. We send it at the end of every month. Sometimes it may get sent more frequent than that, but definitely by the end of every month, we go and we submit any batches to nationals, and it takes them, like I said, a couple weeks. But if you want to check your status, like Mr. Chip's saying, you'll come over here to manage batches. And then your chapter should be the only one that pulls up, but we'll just go to one here. And over here under invoice number, you'll see any invoices that National FFA has sent. And you may have 2. Typically, they send one for state one for state dues, and one of those is for national. So the national invoice will have, in this case, 275 members at $7 a member. The state invoice will have 275 at $5 a member. And you can pay those both with one check to nationals. You pay everything with membership dues goes through nationals, and then they send us a check for your state dues.
That's a good point, because I've heard a lot of people saying, do I need to send state this much and national this much? That's a good point to make.
And if you hover over this, it'll tell you, hey, this bill was paid at such a date. That means that they have gotten it, they've processed it. Your membership should say approved under status for your kids for the year. That means you're good to go. If this number is red, it means that they have not received or processed your payment. You may have sent it, and I know this year especially, we're having a lot of issues due to school closings right now, that a lot of people's bookkeepers aren't in, invoices are coming in, and they're getting missed in the mail right now. So this is a good way to go check, and you can always use this number to email someone at National FFA in the accounting and billing, and they can get you a invoice sent by email even.
And that's all there is to it. It really is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Doesn't take time at all. Much easier than the old PeopleSoft we used to use back when I was teaching. That was awful.
Absolutely. So next year, when you're getting ready to do your membership, we hope this video will be of benefit to you. It certainly is very beneficial to us when everything goes through smoothly, but hopefully this answers some of those questions and can serve as a friendly reminder to you as you're getting ready to do your membership. Make sure you're doing it the right way. As always, if you have issues, please reach out to one of your district improvement specialists or one of us at the state office, and we'll be glad to help you as well. But Mr. Chip, again, I can't thank you enough for putting this together and helping explain some of these frequently asked questions and just walking us through how to do membership.
Glad to do it. If there's any way I can help any of you, please feel free to call me.
thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time for another instructional video for helping you in your chapters. Have a great day.